Hi, I'm Andrew Watson. Thanks for tuning in to my weekly guitar blog. It is Saturday, June 18th, 2011. And if you're not familiar with the guitar blog, what we do here is we answer questions that get sent into my guitar blog website at andrewwatson.com. And I want to make a special announcement on this video. I'm going to be cutting the length of time of these videos down a little bit. I'm finding that on the Saturday afternoons to be able to upload them to YouTube, it's just taking way too long to upload a 25 or 30-minute video. So we're going to be cutting these ones down a bit. I'm going to do a few other guitar blogs through the week, and we're going to be breaking the format up a little bit from this point on to just make the uploads a little bit easier up to the YouTube servers there. So anyway, I'm going to start off here with our first question. It came to us from Bruce in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He just wrote in with a simple question of what exactly is a polychord? So if you're not familiar with a polychord, it's a very unstable chord that has basically two triads over top of one another. It's a very unstable sound. It's usually found in jazz music. So it's not the most fantastic sound for a lot of situations, but basically it's a chord that's essentially two smaller chord types, and they are 90% of the time triads. So two 3-note chords over top of one another, essentially. Now, they're normally used to produce sounds that are quite difficult to be able to obtain with a standard chord. And the polychords, you know, I gotta say right up front, they're difficult to do on the guitar because of the limitations of our fingerboard. Now you can understand, I guess, wholeheartedly, we've got 6 strings. We've only got 4 fingers. Each triad chord has 3 notes. That's a grand total of 6 notes that we only got 6 strings to be able to play them on with, 4 fingers and a thumb. It's pretty challenging to be able to execute most of those polychords on a guitar. So you have to realize that aside from these limitations, more often than not, when guitarists are playing polychords, they're going to probably drop the 5th degree, just like you do with a lot of extended and altered chords when you're trying to get them onto the guitar. The first note to go and get booted out of the picture is the 5th. And that definitely holds true as well for polychords. Now, that can function, by the way, for both of the triads, because remember, a polychord are 2 triads over top of one another. Now, let's go back to that polychord that you just heard me play. It's a B major with a C in the bass. So we basically have a C chord under a B chord. Now, the note layout would be the G to a C to a E, and then on the top end, we're going to have B to D sharp to F sharp. So basically we've got to be able to somehow execute 2 notes together there off of the 5th and 6th strings. Now to be able to do that, the technique is to take the very tip of your finger and just press it down right in between the 2 guitar strings, and then you can add in that triad on top, and then you got your 2 chords, your C down below and your B up on top. And as you can tell, it's very dissonant. So I guess you could use it in some type of a composition where you wanted to get a lot of instability in the piece. But essentially, it's a chord type that's very unique and gives a very interesting kind of color. Probably most of the time you'd find it in a jazz tune. Now, like I was saying, playing it on the instrument is pretty challenging, so you got to start thinking about structure when you're dealing with the polychords. The idea is that wherever you go with the polychord shape on the neck, you're probably going to be doing maybe a half-step chord distance between one another, like you saw B and a C. And then, of course, there's maybe a whole step distance is another popular one. So I'll do that with you. I'm going to take an A chord, basically, and I'm going to put a G under it. So we'll have an A with G under it. Okay, so it's basically a G chord under an A. And the thing about this voicing, though, is I did drop the 5th on this polychord voicing. So I do not have the D note present in this layout. So I've got a G and a B, but then on the upper end of it, I've got the full A major chord. So I've got the A, the C sharp, and the E note on top. So, well, the bass, I should say, basically is there. So I've got E, A, C sharp, and then another A, actually. So this is what it's like when you're building these things. You're probably going to have to drop some notes out here and there to be able to execute them. But basically, that's the scoop on the polychords. They're basically two triads over top of one another. Fairly difficult to produce on the guitar, probably a lot easier to play them on a piano. So if you're a guitar player exclusively, you'll probably have to be dropping some fifths to be able to execute those. Well, that's about all the time that I have for this guitar blog. We'll be coming back later in the week with another one. So thanks for watching. Thanks for sending in all the great questions. Have yourself a great week, and I will catch up with you on the next guitar blog. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.